It is really right now in the city of Ibadan. Of course, this is a rainy season. What can we do? Well, I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Thank you so much for joining me once again on Your Family Lawyer. It is I, yours sincerely, Earl, right? And I'm so glad to have you spend this time with me. What I share here is not legal advice, right? So I'll usually tell you to go and consult with a lawyer and get proper legal advice and legal opinion for your particular matter. What I do here is just to share information that could help you, help share orientations that could guide you in making the right decisions regarding something. So to give you a background knowledge, background information that is better than what Nollywood is showing you through the movies. Okay, today we want to answer the question, how is property divided in Nigeria during a divorce? People get to ask us this question again and again, and I feel it is proper I answer it yes, and I bring you the right answer. Sorry, I may be a little bit distracted. Akon is with me in the study, and I also want to keep an eye on him to ensure he's not destroying something or spoiling something. Okay, now the first thing you should understand that in Nigeria we do not share properties, neither do we divide properties during a divorce. Right? You need to get that clearly. What we do is what is called settlement of properties. So I need to explain that so that you get it clearly. Right? So division of property and sharing of property means that, at the end of the day, by the time the marriage is coming to an end, you take an inventory of all the property owned in the marriage and you divide it accordingly, either by percentage or you divide it equally or 50-50 between the spouses, right? That's the idea and the concept of dividing and sharing. But for us in Nigeria, that is not how it works. Get this clear? Now, how does it work for us? It works for us by what we call settlement of property. Settlement of property means that a particular partner is giving properties or is giving part of the family properties, right, to help that person sustain to a reasonable extent the kind of life that person had before the divorce. Right? So the goal is not to make you richer. You will not automatically now become richer because you've had a divorce. So, if you never had the car during the marriage, now because your spouse has 4 cars, you're automatically going to get 2. No, it's not going to work like that. That is not how it works. Settlement of property actually means that you'll be given a part of the property to make you sustain the lifestyle that you have always had. And this is usually based on the discretion of the judge. Yes, there's a general belief that there's no prenuptial agreement in Nigeria. Where there is, it's just that it is not enforceable. Yes, there is. Unlike in other Western countries where you can bring such agreements to the court and the agreement will be binding on both parties, in Nigeria it's not so. The agreement is just a suggestion to the judge. So the judge can still go ahead to give his own decisions, to give his own order, irrespective of whether you have a prenuptial or a postnuptial agreement. You understand that right now? Because the judge can feel, this thing was biased, this thing was not fair, the way it was settled was not proper. Now, let's come back to identify and properly define what is family property that needs settlement, that requires settlement, right? Now, in Nigeria, you cannot be asking for settlement of property for a property that was acquired before the marriage. Like, take for example, your spouse already had a company before he or she married you, or your spouse already had the land, already had the house, and all of that, or maybe inherited property. You cannot come up and now start saying that, this property is part of the property that is to be shared. No, it does not work like that. The only properties that can be shared are simple. First, we have properties that were acquired in the marriage, and secondly, properties that were fully paid for in the course of the marriage. So let's assume that your partner got this car or this land before marrying you, and it is in the course of the marriage that he or she finish paying for the property, that property may be regarded as family property, right? However, let's assume that in the course of your marriage, your spouse lost a parent and he or she inherited something. You cannot come and start claiming that that's family property. That is not family property. The family did not acquire it. It is an inheritance that accrues just to this person. So now, I hope you are getting it now. Why in Nigeria you don't just share it, right? You must first of all identify what is family property. Then again, you identify what is your contribution to the family property for you to claim a right to it. Take, for example, a man and a woman are married, right? The woman says her money is her money, but the man's money is our money, right? So the man is the one that primarily funds the house, funds the marriage, and also acquired some properties, which means the woman's money is not in the properties, and most of the woman's money was for her own use, and maybe taking care of her own extended family, right? The in-laws and the rest. But it was the man that paid the school fees, that paid the house rent, provided significantly and a lot to the feeding, or handled wardrobe and medical bills, and now still bought property. You cannot come and start claiming that the property should be settled in your favor, that you have an interest. No, you do not have an interest. But if, to a large extent, your husband says that, oh, you should be the one handling food, you should be the one handling domestic matters, where I'm able to save money to acquire things and the rest, your money may not be in those items and in those properties. But because you had to do something else to enable him to be able to achieve that goal, it becomes part of family property. You contributed to it. I do not know if you get it now. So there must be something, you must contribute to it directly or contribute to it indirectly. So you cannot just claim that, oh, because I'm her husband or because I'm his wife, automatically I have an interest in it. It does not work like that in Nigeria's jurisprudence, Nigeria law. You have to show that you contributed. You could either contribute financially or contribute some other way intangibly, in the sense that creating the right environment, right? So while he was using his money and the rest to get this property, I was using money to pay the children's school fees, I was using money to pay house rent, I was using money to run the family. So he did not have to start supplying money for that because my money was covering that, right? So you can come up right now and say, I also spent my money to do things that he benefited from, so I should also benefit from things he spent his money on. You get the idea right now. That's why it is actually not black and white. So, excuse me. So that's not why it's like, oh, you just bring an inventory of everything that was God's and you just divide everything and you share everything. And there's something I also like you guys to know today is that in settlement of property in Nigeria law, that the property is given to you does not mean that the property is not your own. It's not solely your own. The property still belongs to the Commonwealth, especially when you have children. What do I mean? Let's assume the man has a Sienna car and he's the one that used to do school runs before, or perhaps he does school runs, drop you at your place of work before going to his own office. When he's coming back, he picks you up and he picks up the children before going back home, right? And right now, during divorce, custody of the children have now been given to you, right? Custody of the children given to you means that you are the one who's going to be doing school runs. So the court can decide to say, oh, we are also giving you the Sienna car, right, for the welfare of the children. You cannot come up tomorrow and just decide to sell the car. No, because the car was not given to you. It was given for the purpose of the children. It can also happen with a house. The house was given to you because of the children, so you cannot come up and sell the house. And so that's why sometimes when some women are remarrying, some men may want to come back to court to review the settlement of properties. Like, please, the properties given to you should not go into your new marriage. It should be for the benefit of our children. Forgive me. Okay, I took mango before I came on live, and so the mango peeling, the mango skin, I can feel it. The fibers from it still disturbing me, right? But I'm fine. Akon, what are you doing? Okay, back here, right? So if you get to understand this, you will realize why when you get to court and you start talking about properties, more actually about proving and negotiation, proving and negotiation. And that's why I usually tell people that, okay, the best thing for us to do is to let us see how we can settle out of court regarding property. Let's agree what we want to divide and come to court and present it as terms of settlement. If not, we're going to be putting ourselves under so much pressure and mess, trying to argue, trying to negotiate, trying to do all of that in court, because Nigeria law does not do division of property. We don't do sharing of property. We do settlement of property. And what makes it more interesting is that the guiding principle for it says that the judge is supposed to make a decision that is just and equitable. What is just and equitable? It now depends on the circumstances of the case. It is not left for the judge to determine, I feel this is right, I feel this is wrong. And if you think that the judge was not fair, you cannot go to the Court of Appeal. Let me give you a practical example, a true life story, because we handled this on radio to Royal Roots FM here in the city of Ibadan. It was something we discussed that on Sunday live on radio. And what was the issue? This woman was going through a divorce where she met this lover. In the course of meeting this lover, the lover helped her to finalize the divorce, fund her divorce and everything. And after the divorce, the lover married her and took her children in because she got custody of the children. Well, I don't have the full details if she adopted the children or not, but he lived with the woman and her children. Now, 3 years down the line of this woman's remarriage, this woman wants to divorce her new husband, right? And she's claiming 50-50 to the property. She's not only claiming 50-50 to the property, she's also saying that these children belong to this man, and so they have a right, a paternal right from this man. And when I was called upon to discuss the issue on radio, I did not know the full details of it, so I could not talk extensively. But let's look at this case as a typical case, right? So this woman is a divorcee. There's every probability that she got some properties for the welfare of her children. Now she remarried Mr. B and took this property into Mr. B's house. Now that she is about to divorce Mr. B cannot come up and start saying he wants a share from the property that she got from her other marriage. If it's from some other Western countries, she can get a share because they are her property. But in Nigeria, we don't share, we don't divide, we do settlement. So he cannot claim that he wants a share from her property because those properties are most likely, they were settled in her favor for the benefit of her children. So if she's divorcing you right now and she's going away with her children, she has to go away with the properties that she came into the marriage with. But can the woman say she wants 50% of the man's property? She can say she wants a fair share of the man's property that was acquired in the course of the marriage. If those properties were acquired before the man married her, she cannot claim any interest in them. She also said the children were the man's children, where I do not know the full details of the case, if the man adopted the children, but excuse me, if he did not adopt those children, she cannot claim that they are his children. Oh, today I know hold water. Sorry for that. Apologies for that. Thank you. Okay, now, if he did not adopt those children, she can't claim rights to them. She can't claim that they are his children. He may just only have been a foster father. Yes, she mentioned that he gave them his surname. Where I can give anybody my surname. Anybody can choose to use my surname. But if I do not adopt you, you are not my child. You understand now? So it is not surname that makes somebody your child. It is adoption or biological means. This is where I would like to end today because I don't want to take all of your evening. It is still raining in the city of Ibadan, and I'm here with my lovely son Earl doing this live with you. All right. And I just want to let you know that when it comes to divorce and when it comes to property in marriage in Nigeria, we do not share, we do not divide, we settle. Right. And if you take the Hakimi's case as a case study, if it were to be a Nigeria case, what it means is that all the assets and property he got before the marriage cannot be touched. That is if he did not leave it in his mother's favor, right? So get it clearly. Every property you get, every asset you get, tangible or intangible, before the marriage cannot be settled. And properties that are gotten inside the marriage that can be settled are properties that you contributed to, whether you contributed directly or you contributed indirectly. And most of it all is that the principle is to ensure that the spouse that this property is being settled in favor of is able to live that type of lifestyle he or she must have lived before the end of the marriage. My name is Earl and I'm all right. Thank you so much for following. I appreciate it. Remember that this is not legal advice, it's just legal opinion. I'm just sharing thoughts with you. And if you want legal advice, consult your lawyer. If you want to talk to us directly, because I'm also a lawyer, you can send me a DM and I'll respond. Thank you so much for joining me today. You rock.